Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? It is your boy Optic Scumpy with a special guest, Mom of Scump, for today. I'm starting a new series, and we thought that this would be a good idea, a collaborative effort to do a series, and I think I'm going to name it From a Mother's Perspective, just to sort of like pick her brain and see what her thoughts are on various different topics. So, the topic for today is the past, basically dealing with what did she think about all of this gaming before it actually turned into and evolved into what it has become today. So if you have anything you want to say before we start with the questions?
Yeah, I think that's a great topic. I get asked a lot of questions about what I thought when you first started. So yeah, this will hopefully be a good parent video when we're done.
Parent videos series.
Series,
yeah. Okay, so I got my little note card here. It's a little Christmas card. Merry Christmas to all of you in a couple of weeks here. But I got some questions laid out for her, and we're going to hop right into them. So the first one being, did you think that this whole gaming shenaniganry would turn into what it has today?
I've actually been getting that question a lot. I can't say that I thought it would turn into this because I don't think this really existed, did it? When you started in 2011, like
I mean, it existed.
Well, but
I think when she says did it exist, I think she's talking more about the
streaming,
YouTube streaming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted to compete. That was pretty much it, and then the rest of it kind of happened. You know, you used some of your gaming money and bought a computer and got the Sony, what is it, the video stuff in it,
Sony
the Black
Vegas
Magic
Pro,
card
yeah.
and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, the YouTube channel started after probably your first year.
Okay, so dealing with more of the competitive side of things, did you think that competitive would turn into what it is today? Because you remember the Black Ops 1 events like 3 years ago. They were
those like MLG events, or were
Yeah.
those the little lands that you went to?
Well,
Like
either or. They were just tiny compared to
Yeah.
what they are today. Now they're like monstrous.
Yeah, I mean, you went to a couple lands in New Jersey,
Mhm.
and I remember the first one that you and Bob went to, and you guys won like $600. I actually couldn't believe we drove all that
With
way.
the best friend sweatshirts?
Stayed overnight. Yep, best
Yep.
friend sweatshirts with like SpongeBob and Squidward
Yep.
or something on it. Yeah, so that all led up to the first MLG event. So, and MLG is just out of control right now. I mean, it's so popular and it's attended by more and more people every event. So it goes. I think there were like 5 people at my first MLG event on a Friday night. So many changes.
Yeah, now there's a lot.
Awesome.
So, next question. Did you worry about my decision to not go to college and to go to the Optic House? Were you ever like worried that I was going to fail? And
No, I was worried about. I mean, I thought the Optic House was an awesome opportunity for you. You know, and thank you to Hector and Optic Gaming because, you know, and Jude.
That's my boy.
And Jude, it was an amazing opportunity that you had. And we left for the Optic House like 2 days after you graduated from high school.
Yeah, I actually skipped senior week to go.
Which probably was a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a good thing. But I remember in May, and we were talking about the possibility of the Optic House, and we were trying to get stuff for Penn State ready. I was paying deposits for apartments, and you know, it was like, is this going to happen? Is this not going to happen? So, I mean, I was more worried about that than, you know, and the timing of everything, and you not going because it was such a great opportunity, and look what it's turned into.
Yes, it has turned into something beautiful. It has blossomed. But what were your thoughts when I was going to my first event? So not your first event that you went to, when I was traveling to it. What was going through your head? What were you thinking?
Like the little New Jersey stuff?
No,
or
like my first
MLG?
major event.
The first MLG in
Yeah,
Dallas? when I
MLG
didn't go?
Dallas, yeah. First event I won.
Yeah, I really didn't understand what it was about.
Okay, let me rephrase it. Were you
Okay.
scared for my life,
My
well-being?
well, yeah, I get asked that a lot by people, like, how old was Seth when he went to his first LAN? I'm old enough to travel. I keep telling my parents, and I'm like, well, how old are you? Well, I'm 14 or 15. That's not old enough, sorry, guys and girls. It's not. 15 years
That's
old?
100% old enough.
Okay, easy. No, I traveled with you the whole first year when you were 15 in 2011.
Nobody's there to like get you. It's
No,
not.
I know,
It's
but
a gaming event. It's not.
I think it's a great atmosphere. I think the people are so nice. But in any situation, you can go to the mall and have a bad experience. You can go to a fast food place and have a bad experience. I mean,
I guess.
it's always, it can be what you make it, but then unfortunately there are other people that can make it a bad situation. So I would never want to
So you trust? So you trusted me. You didn't trust, the other people
yes,
there.
I did, because Seth, he had played baseball for probably 4 or 5 summers in Georgia, in Atlanta, with his uncle and Uncle Ben, and so he flew a lot by himself. He would get on a plane in Harrisburg and fly to Atlanta, and there'd be somebody waiting for him on the other end. I was actually, I think, more nervous about him doing that than traveling to events after I stopped traveling, because I went to Anaheim, Orlando, Raleigh, Providence, and I'm missing one. I didn't go to Dallas in 2011. And then you went to Europe the next year with Optics, so I didn't go there, but you were always with your team. So I do think that 14, 15 years old is pretty young to be traveling yourself to events. No, you're not good.
You're good. Okay, so moving on to the next question. So a little bit of backstory behind this question. My mom thought that I was depressed for a short amount of time because I was playing video games and not really focusing on sports and girls and other priorities. Well, this was before I quit.
No, I think I took you to the doctor after.
Oh, this was after I quit. Okay, so this was after I quit football. Actually, she thought I was depressed. Why do you think I was depressed?
Well, we've talked about this, and if people saw our Meet Mom video on Mother's Day, they'll remember this answer that you were a good athlete. You were a really good athlete. You had a lot of speed.
Still am a good athlete.
Yes, I think that esports is definitely athletic. I think they're athletic events, definitely. But you were spending a lot of time in your room, and like I've said before, you didn't do a very good job explaining this world to me, and maybe you didn't understand it yourself, and this was really before you started going to events. So you were just sitting up in your room yelling at people in your little headset,
like that's me.
Freaking out,
baby Scump.
And I didn't know he was meeting people, and of course as a parent you're worried about who your kids are meeting online, but really in actuality he's ended up meeting thousands of fabulous people, not only online but when he's going to these events. So my concern for depression was me being a parent, and I do think it's good for kids to have other activities and to be well-rounded individuals. Definitely get good grades. People ask me that a lot. Yes, Seth got pretty much straight A's. I'm not sure how he did it, but he did. I mean,
That's
it would
dedication.
have been great if he, maybe would have liked something else in the last 2 years in high school. But as a parent, I always knew where he was. I was never worried about him out running around. The whole girl scene, he was very dedicated to playing Call of Duty.
Okay, so next question is, were you apprehensive whenever I quit sports for Call of Duty? When I made that final decision to just quit sports?
Yes, I was. Because, again, I didn't know that you were interacting with people like you were by playing. I didn't know that you were actually getting better. I thought you were just playing video games.
She thought I sucked.
No, I didn't understand the
She thought I sucked, and I stayed sucking.
No, I'll tell you when I knew that you didn't.
That's what you just said. You were like,
I know, I'm kidding.
I didn't know if you were getting better.
Well, I didn't know that you were trying to get better to do these competitions. But one of my stepsons said something to me about Seth was in some magazine for being one of the world's best video game players, and this was probably, 4 or 5 years ago, and I was like, oh, it can't be Seth. I think it was. So yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong.
So the last question that I'm going to ask her, and this is a frequently asked question, a FAQ according to her. What was my age when I first started traveling?
Well, we talked about
my
that.
first tournament ever.
Yeah,
what was my
you were
age?
15.
15, yeah.
You were like 15 and a half.
15 and a half.
It was like April of 2011 or something.
Okay, so that's how long I've been competing at tournaments. That's 3.5 years.
It's not very long.
I mean, it's still pretty long. To see where it's come, 3.5 years. Seth has came a long way in 3.5 years.